Speaking of the game, speaking of playing, let's talk about Bryce Harper. Yes, baseball. I know y'all like, what? Is this more to it? Is this Marcellus Wiley? Is this Never Shut Up? Yes, we're talking baseball right here. I like his creative comeback. Let me hip you to this story. Bryce Harper approached the Phillies. They had a conversation with an interesting plan to return from his Tommy John surgery that he had in November in an attempt to skip his minor league rehab assignment as well. Bryce says, I learned how to play first base. Now, this does not affect his timetable to return to the lineup. He will still return as the DH because he'll be cleared to hit in games before he's cleared to throw because of the Tommy John, right? But if Harper takes to the new position, the Phillies think it could allow him to reach the field sooner than if he played right field, obviously. Because in right field, boy, you catch that ball, you know what you got to do. Rocket launcher, right? So manager Rob Thompson says, I really don't know if he will go on assignment. Double whammy here. I mean, if he's swinging the bat well and he feels good, I say, why waste it? I like that right there. We all got a pitch count. We all got a rep count. We all got an activity count in terms of high level, except LeBron James right now. I don't know what the hell he on, but boy, he got something. But, you know, most of us, mere mortals, you got to make sure those reps count, that you apply them to the right situations. We just saw that with Andrew Wiggins in so many ways, right? Andrew Wiggins went through his personal issues. Andrew Wiggins, whatever took him away from the Golden State Warriors, he brought his butt back when it mattered most, right? And they made sure he went through a couple conditioning practices, make sure he got his legs under him to a degree, but we need you when it counts. I think Rob Thompson is thinking the same way. He's like, yo, we need him when it counts, but we also need him to play as fast as possible. Y'all know who we talking about right now, Bryce Harper, dude. That's the money man right there. So we got to make sure he's out there. They're struggling right now. They got a 5-9 record, 11th in the National League in home runs, not looking pretty. So the man can swing the bat. Let's put him in a position when we're in the outfield, he could play first base instead of being in the right fielder, instead of being in the outfield. Makes a lot of sense to me. Now, remember, Harper, he got hurt last year before this, and he didn't spend much time, if any, just a little in the minors. And he had that thumb injury, and then he came back. They got this technology now all locked in. The cats know through simulation how you get your at-bats now, major league caliber at-bats through simulation. And they're going to use that technology to their side and to their benefit as they get closer to his return date. So he's been taking batting practice already, and he simulated a game scheduled early for next week. All of which means he's getting closer and closer. Still needs his medical clearance to execute his preferred head first slides. Good luck with that. But in some ways, that's pretty much the last remaining battle and hurdle. All right, so he's coming back. Made me think about like when you're out there playing, because a lot of times this is not privy information to the fans, to you guys on the outside. You know, you see a guy get hurt, you hear 4 to 6 weeks, and you just wait 4 to 6 weeks. But so much is going on, and we're going to talk about that even in the next story with Zion. But in this situation, you see a guy who's like, he's limited. He's not perfect. He's not ready. But he's limited, but he can contribute. And I remember we used to talk about, are you hurt or are you injured, right? Because if you're injured, can't go. You're hurt, let's figure out something. Let's figure out what we can do mentally and physically to get you out there. And even in a limited capacity, you still are capable of making plays. You're still capable of doing some things. It's crazy because I've been there before. So one thing they always tell us is if one of your senses is compromised, then all of a sudden the other senses are heightened, right? So they say people that lose their sight can hear better. You know, you get it. Well, they translate that to sports as well. So they're saying that, well, if you're compromised physically in one area, then there are other areas that we can increase, whether it's focus or through compensation, other body parts that'll be stronger that you can use and exercise in the field of play. So there have been times when, frankly, I wasn't 100%, ankle messed up, hip flex or whatever it may be. And because of that concentration, because of that focus, and because I got to use everything else to overcompensate for that injured part, I actually go out there and play, dare I say, better. I'm locked in. I know I don't have it all. So I got to use all that I have. Sometimes you go out there and when you're afforded perfect health, 100%, you just take it for granted. You don't even activate everything. You're just locked in. But at the same time, some of your things are not turned on fully, if you get where I'm coming from. So in real life, people who have compromised senses enhance their other ones. And the same thing in sports. Oh, I can't throw the ball the same, Bryce Harper, but I can lock in and I can still throw it from first base. But more importantly, I can swing this bat. With that concentration, with that focus, and me swinging the bat, I can still contribute. So I thought that was interesting because I've been through that in so many ways, and then it happens sometimes just father time where you see the compromise that comes from a guy who's losing the step. And it used to be this shutdown corner who now turns into this coverage safety. You know what I mean? We've seen that in so many ways. I saw it again when I had to move from running back to defensive end. Yep. I had to go from running back to defensive end, and I had to translate what I had into something else, but still be able to contribute, still be something on that field, still make the needle move. And running back, obviously, you got the ball. Everybody wants you. You're the pretty girl on the field. Everybody want to holler. And I was like, yo, man, playing DN, you hollering that. You got your game right. You got your lines down. You trying to get to it. And it's obviously more physical playing DN. People think it's more physical playing running back. Nah, because at the end of every play at running back, I dictate those terms. I get tackled, right? I made moves. I got speed. I can get away. Oh, they got me? Fine. But it was all me. When you playing DN, not even get to the play. You got to go through hell first. Offensive lineman, a.k.a. 5 security guards from the club, right? You got to go through that before you even get to the guy who's going to try his damnness to make sure you don't get to him. So being in the trenches is exactly how it sounds. Being in the trenches, it was a different animal than being on the edge, perimeter, backfield, space, all those type of things. So I understand what they're doing over there in Philadelphia, and I see what Rob Thompson's talking about. Let's just get what we can out of Bryce Harper. He's too good to waste.